and welcome to my channel. My name is Venus and today I want to talk about my 10 reading goals for 2023. So I wanted to share these goals with you guys today just to hold myself accountable and also maybe give you guys some ideas for your 2023 reading goals. 8 of these are specific to reading, my reading goals for 2023, and then the last 2 are more geared towards my channel goals. So let's jump right in. The first goal is how many books I want to read this year. So the last 2 years I've had, I think 80 was my reading goal, and I've been pretty consistent around 85. This year I think I'm going to come out at 88. So I'm going to bump it up this year, make it a little bit more challenging to 85. Years prior to the last 2 years I had it at 100 because I was reading a lot of romance books, and those don't tend to take me a long time to read, but the last few years I have been reading more fantasy and more science fiction, which are obviously much longer, much denser, so it takes me a little bit more time to get through those. So I wanted to be very mindful and realistic about my reading goals for 2023. So for goal number 2, that is related to all of the fantasy and sci-fi series that I want to continue or finish in 2023. I did a whole video about that, so I won't go into detail about that. You can check that video out. I will post it above. So goal number 3 is to reread Harry Potter. Harry Potter has been a huge part of my life, gosh, since my late 20s to early 30s. It really helped me get through some severe anxiety and depression during those times. So it's always going to hold a place in my heart. I have like a whole 3/4 sleeve tattoo dedicated to it, and every few years I like to just revisit that world and the characters, so I feel like 2023 is a perfect time to do that. I have the illustrated copies of, I think it's books 1 through 5 so far have come out, so I don't know if I'm actually going to read it on those because they're pretty big and they're heavy. They're beautiful, but I don't think I might just flip through those. They're huge. But I'm definitely excited to kind of grab all of my first editions and to jump back into those stories. So that's definitely one of my goals for 2023. So goal number 4 is to read one Stephen King book every month or every other month. I want to tackle, I don't know if you can see, but all of the books that I already have by Stephen King. Some of them will be rereads, so I plan on rereading Salem's Lot, Dreamcatcher, From a Buick 8, Firestarter. I think those are mostly the ones that I'm going to reread, and Christine. The Shining is going to be the first book that I read. I plan on reading that in January. I think it's going to be a perfect time to read that. I've never read that book and I've never seen the movie, so I plan on reading it and watching the movie and comparing the two. Probably that's going to be interesting. Goal number 5. So this year, 2022, my goal was to read one nonfiction book a month. Did not happen. I've read a total of 3, 2 of which I read in December, so I completely bombed that goal. I still want to try to read more nonfiction in 2023, but I've brought down the number to 6. I feel like that's a good, safe number for me to achieve it. Reading nonfiction it's important. I do definitely want to make sure that I'm getting a little bit of that into my reading for the year. My brain likes to correlate nonfiction books for some reason with self-help books and leadership books, which I am burnt out on. So I have no desire to read any of those kind of books. But I still want to read nonfiction, and I reminded myself that those aren't the only nonfiction books there are. I love reading about people that I admire and their life story. I also like reading about space and astrophysics. So if you're struggling with getting in some nonfiction books, just remember you don't have to read the new shiny books that come out, the self-help books, all of those things. Just pick a subject that you love, that you want to learn more about, and dig into that because it'll probably be easier to get through and not feel like a textbook. So goal number 6, I want to read more diverse authors, whether that's more women authors, more people of color, LGBTQ, more than what I've kind of been focused on the last few years. New independent authors, I definitely want to try their stuff. So I don't want to just stick to all of the mainstream things that are, you know, always on booktube. I want to find those hidden gems. So those are some books that I am looking forward to digging into in 2023. So goal number 7, I want to read different subgenres of sci-fi. I usually gravitate towards like the space operas, the long series, and I really want to scale that back, read a lot more standalone sci-fi books, maybe like cyberpunk, like steampunk, I think that's one subgenre. I really love Blake Crouch, so I definitely want to I think I need to read Recursion and then go back to some of his older books. And Michael Crichton. So Michael Crichton is the author of Jurassic Park. I absolutely love Jurassic Park. It's one of my favorite books of all time. And I enjoyed a lot of his other books. So I plan on rereading Timeline, which I absolutely loved. It's like a time travel back into the Middle Ages. It was such a fun book. I'm going to reread that this year. And some of his other books. I think one of them was called Prey, which is like, I think it was like some kind of insect swarm, or I can't remember exactly, but I remember it was really good. I'm just trying to branch out with my sci-fi books, so if you have any standalone recommendations, please drop them below, because I'm very much looking into trying to expand my sci-fi genre reading. And then my last specific reading goal is to use my library. I've been really good at this the last, I guess, half of 2022. I've not bought nearly as many books as I have in the past because if you've seen this year, I had 2 book on haul videos with me unhauling over 70 books, and that's just like throwing money out the window. So we don't want to do that anymore. So I'm very intentional about the books that I buy. This is not a book buying ban or whatever it's called. I am still gonna buy books from authors that I love. There's quite a few books that are coming out this year. I've pre-ordered already, like Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo and the new Grady Hendrix book. So those I know I'm gonna purchase. But for other books that are coming out, everyone's talking about, I'll put them on reserve at my library. Or for older books, the library. It's been great. And I've also been using Scribd, 100% not sponsored, but I do recommend it. It's a great app that I use. It has audiobooks and ebooks, and they have pretty new books that come out. It may not be like right at the release date, it might be like a couple weeks or a month later, but I've read so many books on that app, and Libby, of course, so using my library. I'm back up to the sci-fi. I also want to read alien invasion books, so if you know of any good alien invasion standalones, let me know. So these last 2 are just more geared toward my channel. The first, so goal number 9 is to hit 1,000 subscribers in 2023. That was always my initial goal. I broke it up into increments like 100 and then 500. And so the next one and the last one, because after that, anything over 1,000 I feel is just gravy. And I'm literally thankful for every single subscriber I already have. But I just feel like that's such a good round number. And then the last goal is to try to be more interactive, maybe do some reading sprints. I don't know what I'm doing, but we're gonna figure it out together. And maybe some read-alongs and, I don't know, live streams, who knows. But try to be a little bit more interactive with you guys. If you have any ideas for me, please leave them below. I would love to hear your thoughts. And that's it. Those are my 10 reading goals for 2023. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know if any of these are on your reading goal list. Are you going to add any of these? Do you have some that you think maybe I could add to my goals? I'm open for discussion. As always, thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate it so much. Please hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you again soon. See ya.